Did you know some of the world's most beautiful women struggle to find love? But here's the twist, it's not their fault. In these 4 countries, the numbers just don't add up. What happens when there aren't enough men? Stay with me, the answer might surprise you. Number 4, Russia. Alright fellas, let's get real. If you think you've seen beautiful women, let me burst that little bubble. Cause Russia is on a whole different level. We're talking about women who make runway models look like amateurs. But here's the kicker, they're single. Yep, stunning, smart, and single. Now, hold up before you start dreaming of vodka-fueled dates under the Moscow moon. Let's dig into why. In Russia, the numbers don't lie. For every 73 million men, there are 84 million women. Do the math, millions of women are out here waiting, and it's not because they want to. It's because they have no choice. And these women, they're not just any women. Russian women are legendary. Fair skin, silky hair, lips that'll have you forgetting your own name, and curves that could stop traffic in Siberia. But they're not just eye candy, they're sharp, ambitious, and know exactly what they bring to the table. Here's the problem, the men. Let's just say the pickings are slim. Many Russian men struggle to keep up, whether it's in looks, ambition, or even lifespan. Russian men leave, on average, 10 years less than their female counterparts. Wars, health issues, and a dash of vodka, whatever the reasons, it leaves the women outnumbered and, let's be honest, underserved. Think about it, you've got a nation full of gorgeous, self-made women. Meanwhile, their dating pool looks like a kiddie splash pad, shallow and disappointing. It's no wonder so many Russian women are open to looking beyond their borders. They're tired of waiting for a prince who never shows up. And don't get it twisted, these women aren't desperate. Oh no, they've got standards higher than Moscow skyscrapers. They want a man who's confident, who knows how to handle a conversation, who can match their fire. But the reality is brutal, they're stuck between settling for less or stepping into the great unknown of international love. Now here's the part where you should really listen. If you've ever thought, man, where are all the good women buddy there in Russia waiting for someone who's got their act together? Someone who's not afraid to step up, show respect, and keep up with their wit and charm. So here's my question to you, are you that guy? Because these women aren't just a fantasy, they're real, and they're looking for someone who isn't afraid of the challenge. In Russia, the winters are freezing, but the women, they'll light a fire in your soul you didn't even know you needed. And that's not just a fact, it's an invitation. Number 3, Iceland. Alright lads, let's have a chat. Imagine this, a land where fire meets ice, where black sands kiss sapphire lagoons, and where the women, oh, they're as captivating as the northern lights themselves. Welcome to Iceland, rugged, wild, and absolutely magnetic. But here's where it gets interesting. Icelandic women, they're not just beautiful, they're fearless. Living in a country that's essentially a raw, untamed frontier has forged women with a kind of independence and grit that's downright intimidating. You think you're tough. These women grew up navigating volcanic landscapes in midnight winters. They've got Viking blood in their veins, mate, and trust me, they're not impressed by bravado, they've seen it all. But let's talk about the catch. Sure, they're independent, strong, and gorgeous, but there's a flip side to that coin. Iceland is one of the most gender-equal countries in the world, so if you walk in with outdated ideas about chivalry or dominance, you'll be left out in the cold, literally and figuratively. Iceland's tiny population means their dating pool is limited. So Icelandic women aren't just looking for someone, they're looking for the one. You better believe they've got high standards. They want intelligence, curiosity, and someone who respects their independence. But don't mistake their strength for coldness. Beneath that fierce exterior, a warmth that'll catch you off guard. These women love deeply and live passionately. They're the kind who'll drag you into adventures you didn't know you wanted, whether it's chasing waterfalls or stargazing under the aurora borealis. Icelandic women aren't just into the outdoors or Viking sagas. They're also some of the most cultured, well-read, and creative people you'll meet. Whether it's their love of poetry, music, or folklore, they'll challenge you to see the world through their unique lens. And that's where the magic lies. One minute, you're debating ancient myths over coffee in a Reykjavik cafe, and the next, she's pulling you into a geothermal hot spring because, well, why not? Here's the deal, lads. If you want an Icelandic woman, you've got to step up. She doesn't need you, but if you can keep up with her wit, her spirit, and her sense of adventure, she just might choose you. So, are you ready for a woman as wild and untamed as the land she calls home? In Iceland, you're not just chasing love, you're chasing the adventure of a lifetime. Alright gentlemen, let's talk about Estonia, a small country with a big surprise. Picture this snow-dusted forest stretching to the horizon, medieval castles that look straight out of a fantasy novel, and then there she is, an Estonian woman, her gaze sharp enough to pierce armor, her smile mysterious enough to leave you questioning everything. Now here's the catch, Estonian women. They're not easy to impress. They've grown up in a land of resilience, where winters are long, the history's heavy, and independence is a way of life. You think you can stroll in with charm alone? Think again, mate. These women are like their homeland, chilled on the outside but brimming with untamed energy beneath. They're educated, tech-savvy, and fiercely independent. Estonia didn't become one of the most digitally advanced nations in the world by chance, and its women, they're leading that charge. But here's where it gets interesting. They also have a deep connection to their roots. Estonian women value nature, tradition, and quiet strength. They grew up surrounded by stories of myth and magic, the kind that makes you wonder if they're conjuring something more than just charm when they look your way. Estonian women won't tolerate arrogance. If you think you're going to wow with loud bravado, you're already losing. They admire depth, intelligence, and a sense of humor that's subtle, not slapstick. Try too hard, and you'll see that frosty demeanor they're famous for. But then if you manage to break through that icy exterior, you'll find a warmth that's as intoxicating as mulled wine on a cold Estonian night. Estonian women are patient, but they don't wait forever. They appreciate effort, authenticity, and a man who can balance strength with sensitivity. Show respect for their culture, take an interest in their love for sauna rituals, folk music, or their obsession with digital efficiency, and you earn their admiration. But there's a word of caution. These women are as sharp as the northern winds. They'll see through insincerity faster than you can say talent. If you're not up for a woman who challenges you intellectually, emotionally, and even spiritually, Estonia might just humble you. So here's the question, are you ready for the quiet power, the understated elegance, and the fierce independence of an Estonian woman? She'll test you, no doubt, but if you pass, you'll find a partner who's as loyal as the wolves in Estonia's forest and as inspiring as the stars over their long winter nights. Number 1. Norway. Norway, a land carved by glaciers, kissed by the northern lights, and ruled by women who could stop you dead in your tracks with a single look. Let me ask you this, have you ever met someone who's as untouchable as a star but burns just as brightly? If not, you've never met a Norwegian woman. Picture this, snow crunches beneath your boots. The icy wind brushes past your face, sharp enough to remind you you're alive. The fjords rise like cathedral walls, nature's silent sermon, but then she steps into view. She's tall, she's poised, and her gaze doesn't just meet yours, it pierces straight through you. Confidence isn't just something she carries, it's the air she breathes. And suddenly you realize you're in the presence of someone who doesn't just take on life, she conquers it. But here's where it gets wild. Norwegian women are as enigmatic as the northern lights themselves. One moment they're untouchable, fiercely independent, living their lives like they don't need anyone. And the next, they're laughing with you over a cup of mulled wine, their eyes glinting with warmth that feels as rare and fleeting as the aurora itself. You see, Norway isn't for the faint of heart, and neither are its women. They've grown up in a land where the winters are long and the nights even longer. Therefore, they've learned to embrace the cold and find their own light. This isn't a place for the shallow, the weak, or the indecisive. These women, they don't wait for a man to keep up, they expect it. You might think, okay, so they're strong, what's the catch? The catch is this, you can't fake your way into her world. Charm won't cut it, money won't impress her. She's heard it all, seen it all, and walked away from it all without a second glance. But if you show her you're authentic, if you match her passion for adventure and her respect for boundaries, she'll let you into a world most men can only dream about. And that's the thing about Norwegian women, they're not looking for someone to complete them. They're looking for someone bold enough to stand beside them. But then comes the moment you see her vulnerability, not a weakness, but a strength so rare it stops you in your tracks. She's not afraid to challenge you, to push you, to make you a better man. And when she loves, it's not halfway. It's all in. So here's the real question: are you ready to keep up, to step out of your comfort zone and into a world where every moment feels like an adventure? Because Norway's women, they're not just unforgettable, they're life-changing.